Alright, so good morning everyone. In the last week, I think we have already finished the head of the alien juicer. For today, I'm going to do a very quick review about how to make this one. Just make sure all of you can follow the progress to finish these alien juicers. So, first things, if you remember, we can split this model into two different major parts. First one is about the head of the alien juicer. Second part will be about the leg of the alien juicer. Basically, we will use in different way for modeling them. So for the first one, actually, it's very simple. Let's delete the one that I have made before. For the first one, actually, we can start with a sphere. If you remember, we can easily create some very simple primitives, such as cube, such as sphere, or such as cone, that kind of primitives inside Rhinosys. So let's just go to here, go to the left sidebar, and choosing this icon, click the little triangle on the bottom side, choosing a sphere. Here we have. And now the way we're going to draw is using center of sphere, which means we have to define the center of the sphere and also define the radius of the sphere. Now we can get the final sphere that we want to have. Let's go to the top view. It will be easier for you to draw the model. So let's go to here, the top view. And just choosing a random center for the sphere. And remember, I will strongly suggest you to hold on the Shift key on your keyboard so that you can make sure all of your model can face to the right direction. So hold on the Shift key on your keyboard and draw the sphere. It doesn't have to be very precise, so we can just using the visual way to measure the size of the sphere. More or less, it has to be similar to the reference model. Okay? So let's draw this one. Now we have this. Next thing is that we have to reconstruct the isocurve and the structure line that the sphere has. So right now you can see that on the surface of the sphere, it only has 4 isocurve on that. So in order to increase the control point of this sphere, we have to rebuild this one. That's also the things we have learned before. So how can we do that? Very easy. Let's choose the sphere here. Go to Edit and choose Rebuild. Or another way is that if you are familiar enough, you can just directly go to here to type in Rebuild. Right? So it is a very important command inside Rhinosys. So we can use this one to rebuild surface, curve, and all the different things inside Rhinosys to reconstruct the structure to define how many segments and how many control points we want to have. So right here, you can see that once we choose rebuild, there will be 2 major parameters show up. First one is point count. Second one is degree. For the point count, it means that we are going to reset the number of the control point, which means the control point number that we have right now. The second thing is about the degree. It's about the level of the smoothness. Usually, we will just stay like 3 or 4 and not higher, because if you go higher, the model will get very huge. So usually, we will stay in 3. And now we are going to count how many number we are going to have. So what's the meaning of the U and V right here? The U means the horizontals. The V means vertical. So actually, it's the X and Y axis in the non-planar surface. So let's take a look. First thing, for the U part, let's calculate how many segments we need to have. Basically, I think in the last week, we have already know that we need to have 24 segments on the horizontal part. And we need to have around 5 to 6 segments on the vertical part. So let's just click OK. Right? So now we have this one. Let's go to the first side view to take a look about the result we have. So this is the result we have. Now we have a new sphere right here. So how can we turn this one into this kind of star-like shape so that we can have the peak on the border? Well, very easy. So let's go to the top view again. And you can press F10 to turn on the control point. Or you can just go to here. Once you select the sphere, go to here to turn on the control point of the object, right? So now we have. So now let's take a look. In order to make the sphere looks like a star-like shape, we have to shrink some vertex, make them get closer to the center point, right? We have to make this one and that one get closer to the center point. So in order to do that, we can just simply using scale to do this one. So very easy. It's just using frame selection. Please remember to using frame selection. Otherwise, you will only select the top one or the bottom one. Let's take a look so that you can understand the difference. So if we choosing this one by selections, you can see that we can only select the top one. So which means we can only select the things we have seen. But if you use frame selection, like this one, frame selection, you can select the upper side and the bottom side as well. So that's the things we want. We want to select them all. So for this time, please use frame selections. Let's choose this one, that one. Just follow this order to select all the vertex. Sorry, let's do that again. All right, so now we have finished this one. If you select something wrong, it is easy. Just hold on the control key and you can do the reverse selection. You can deselect the object. And for the multiple selection, for example, you want to select more, just hold on the shift key again so that you can do the selections. Okay, so now we have finished this one. So the next things we are going to do is to scale down the distance between the border vertex and the center vertex. So let's just using the scale so that we can do that. Again, you can hold on your shift key to do the scaling so that you can get the shape like this. Or another way is that you can do them 2 times. So first one, choosing the X direction. So probably let's scale them into point A. You can just select the square, the red square, and type in the number you want to scale so that you can scale in the X directions. Next one, choosing the green one. Just type in the number again and press enter so that you can get the same result just like this, just like the first time. Okay, so let's take a look about the result what we have. Basically, it will look like this. Okay, so both of them can work. You can choose the one you want. Once you finish this one, let's go to the side view. Okay, let's go to the side view. So for the side view, well, way more easy than before. For the side view, very simple. We just have to change the proportion of the alien juicer's head. So let's just make this one longer. Let's drag. So once select the vertex, using frame selection, select the vertex. Let's drag them to the right positions. Okay, just like this. And you can adjust the proportion by yourself. Okay. And how about the bottom side? The bottom side is supposed to be like a peak. It has to be very, very sharp. So very easy because basically inside rhinoceros, the sphere is composed by one single surface. So you can see that in the bottom side, it also has one vertex on the bottom. So let's just simply drag them and so that you can get a very sharp end in the bottom side. So that's the things. Now we have this one. Let's take a look about the proportion. It looks fine. If you think it's not enough, you can still adjust the proportion by yourself. So that part, I will leave the freedom for yourself. All right. So once you finish, you can turn off the control vertex. So let's just select the surface and praise this icon. But for this time, please use the right mouse button so that you can have this. Okay. So I will leave you guys around 4 minutes to finish the alien juicer's head, just in case in the last week and also after you go home you didn't do the review, so that you can have time to catch up the progress. For the next part, we are going to finish the alien juicer's leg. So that's the 6. Let's give you around 5 minutes until 9:38. Then we will keep moving forward. I hope all of you have successfully finished the head of the alien juicer. For the next part, we are going to do the leg of the alien juicer. For this part, it's very simple. basically, if you remember, we have already learned how to use in the sweep to create a surface. For this one, it's pretty much the same. The only difference is that for that leg, it contains multiple surfaces inside. But the idea is still pretty much the same. So let's take a look about the things we have done in the last week. Okay, so if you remember about the sweep one, basically the sweep one is composed by one trail curve and multiple section curve. Okay, so the trail curve will control the major shape of the entire surface, and the section curve will control the shape of the surface in another different direction, like the horizontal direction, the vertical direction, etc. So basically, once we control these two curves, we can get the shape we want. And for the leg, actually it's pretty simple. I hope that you guys can have these kind of instructions when you are working on rhinoceros. And also it will be very helpful if you are going to use another different 3D software. So how can we use in Sweep 1 to do this leg? Very simple. The first thing is that we have to create a curve of the trail. So basically this is the trail curve, right? This is the trail curve. So how about the section curve looks like? The section curve will be the sections of this leg. So probably for this one, it will look like a sphere, or this one will look like an ellipse. Okay, so it depends on the section of this curve, of this leg. So how can we do that? Very simple. Again, in order to make the image clean and also easy to see, I will hide the rest part. If you want to hide the rest part, very simple. You can just simply select the things you want to show and go to here. There is a little light bulb. You can just click the triangle shape and choose this one, isolate object, the first one, so that you can hide the rest part. If you want to show them again, just go to here, click the second one, show objects, and all the rest of the thing will show up again. So let's do this one, isolate, and let's focus on the things right now we are working on. So let's get started. For this one, I would suggest you guys to turn your perspective into the front view or side view, so it will be easier for you to draw the shape of the curve. So I will go to the front view because you can see that for now, the shape of the leg already faces the front view. If you take a look about the top view, okay, I'm going to using this one as the reference. So let's go to here, go to the front view. Now we can use this one as a reference because this leg is facing the front view. All right, so let's get started. First is let's draw the trail curve. Let's go to here. The first one, this one probably looks like this. So it will look like almost like a straight curve. So let's draw this. Okay, this is the first curve. Once you finish, let's press enter. So this is the first section of the curve. The second part, because this one looks like a smooth curve, it's not like a straight curve. So rather than using the polylines, I will using the control point curve to draw that. So let's choosing this one. Choosing this one, control point curve right here. And then we can start to draw. Okay, so probably you will think, okay, the shape doesn't look exactly right, and also it's not that precise at all. We still can change that by select the control point to change the shape. Okay, and if you think, okay, this is not intuitive enough, I cannot using my eye to measure what's the distance and what's the difference between mine and the target one. Then we can use another different way to do that. You can change the viewpoint, the view style. So for example, right now we are under the shaded view. This is the basic visual display wave inside rhinoceros. And if you want to see the wireframe or like the structure of the curve, we can go to here, click this little triangle, and turn it on to wireframe. so that you can see the structure of the surface. So for this one, probably it will more intuitive compared to the one that we just draw on the side of the leg. Let's do that again. Let's choose in polyline and draw the first curve. It has to be a little bit longer than the reference. Otherwise, well, because we are going to insert the leg into the alien juicer's head. Okay, so this is the first part. Let's draw the polyline. Okay, then let's using the control point curve again. Let's draw the first one. Just follow the structure line to draw. It will be easier for you. Okay, and finally, let's draw like this. So this is the curve we have. Let's move them to the sides so that you can compare with that. So this one, I think it looks pretty much down. But right now, they are two different objects, right? They are two different objects. This is the first one. This is the second one. So in order to join them together, there is a command that we're going to use. Let me type that for you. Control J, which means join. This is a command that inside Rhinosys that we can use for join the object. Control J, join. So right now these are two different objects. So in order to join them, we have to use in join command to combine them together. So you can just simply press the button on your keyboard, press Control and J to join them, so that it will become a single one curve. Or another way, you can go to Edit to find the command. It's right here, Control J. So inside Rhinosys, they already tell you what's the hotkey for join. All right, so this is the first part. I will finish this part and give you some time to do the practice. So the next things we are going to do is about to know the section curve of the leg. So how can we know that? For sure, you can just using the wireframe mode to see the curve, to see the iso curve of the leg. Another way is that we can use one more command to do that. So you can type in the command right here. Let me copy and write that for you. We can use in this command to do that. So if you want to see the curve, the section of the leg, we can use in this command section. Okay, the section is very easy. You can just simply using drag and draw a curve to cut off the things you want to see. So for example, I want to see the section of the leg and I want to know how it looks like. So let's just go to the front view and type in command section. And you can draw. Choosing the object that you want to use, press enter and draw a curve. So now you can get the section curve of this of the leg. So it will look like this. Basically, I think it looks pretty much like an ellipse. Okay, it looks like an ellipse. So let's get started. Let's try to draw that one. So for that one, it's very easy. Let's just go to the top view. And where is my curve? I forget where it is. Okay, it's right here. Let's roll into here. So the first thing is that we can just using circle to draw the section curve. So let's draw. This is the first one. And make this one a little bit longer so that one looks like an ellipse. Okay, make this one looks like an ellipse. Let's go to the front view. Let's go to the front view. And for that one, we have to rotate this into probably 45 or 60 degree. Okay, then let's move them to here. For this part, in order to move the object in the very precise way, please using move tool right here. You can use the move tool or just simply type in the command bar. Let's move them to here. All right, so let's move. Let's do it again. Let's copy one more. Type in copy. Copy them to here. Okay, so now we have two section curves. The last one in the bottom side, probably this one looks a little bit different from the previous two section curve. So that we have to draw a new one. Let's draw a circle again. Let's take a look. This one looks like a circle. So let's just directly draw a circle right here. That's using the circle here. And hold on your shift key to draw one. All right, so now I think this one is pretty much done. Let's take a look. For that one, yeah, it looks okay. But for this part, you can see that it's not located on the curve. See, that will be the problem. In order to solve this problem, let's go to the top view. Here, I want to introduce a new command inside Rhinosys for you guys. So before that, I ask you guys don't turn on the project. Because for the project, once you turn on this one, it will always project and force all of your objects be snapped to the ground 0 or ground X, ground Y. And for this time, I need you guys to turn on that so that we can do that and we can finish this one. So for this one, for this curve, once you turn on this, and once you turn on project, let's using move tool again. And hold on shift key, and you can move them in a very precise way to the target curve. So let's choose in this one, move them to here. Okay, so now we have, let's take a look. So basically right now you can see that the ellipse is perfectly located on the curve. So the last thing is about using sweep one. Let's finish this one. And if you've got questions, you can raise your hand. Let's using sweep one rail, choosing the curve, press enter. Choosing the section curve, you can choose lamp 2. Let's do it again. Select the rail, select the closed section curve, and press enter. Oh, there is something wrong here. It is okay. I think that's because these kinds of things sometimes it happens. Why is that? That's because of the direction of the curve. Sometimes it will go wrong. So in order to solve this problem, I think if we can just simply break these two, it will be easier. Let's do it again. Surface, sweep one, choosing the rail, choosing the section, press enter. Okay, so now we have the first section. Let's do that again. Let's choosing the rail, choosing the section curve. Okay, so now we have. Now this turn into two different sections of the leg. And choosing both of them and join. So now the leg has been down. All right, so I will give you some time to finish this one. And if you got questions, just raise your hand and I will try. All right, guys, so we are about to finish the alien juicer's leg. So now we only have one leg and we still miss two. But for the rest, the two legs, actually they are the same one. So we just have to copy them. It will be, and the entire alien juicer's model will be done. So how can we do that? For this one, first thing we have to put this one to the right location. For this part, please go to the top view. Okay, let's go to the top view. And right here, this is the center point of the alien juicers. So let's just using the move tool to move them to here. You can using gumbo as well, but gumbo is not that precise at all. So we can just using gumbo to move the leg to this position. Next part is using transform and move tool. Move the leg to the right position. And for this part, please don't forget to turn on the object snap so that you can catch the right position. Okay? So once we move this one to here, the next things we can try to do, that's first things, let's try to catch the point. So for example, like the midpoint or like the reference point. Anyway, just find a reference point here. So probably for mine, in this case, I will try to draw another curve in order to help me to find the right position, to find the center point. This is a little bit annoying. Let me redo that again. All right, let's do this. So for this one, let's try to find a center point. Let's using move tool and move them to the center right here. So let's go to the wireframe mode. It will be easier for you guys to see. So let's go to move and choose this one, more or less. Move them to here, move them to the center. Okay, it looks fine. So the next thing we are going to do is to do the rotation and copy. So it's not like regular copy. For this one, you can just copy the object to the position you want. But for the things we're going to do is using the rotation and the copy together. So let's go to transform and choosing rotate, the third one here. Okay, transform, rotate right here. On the top side, rotate. Let's choose this one and choosing a center you want to use and choosing a reference point, probably like this. The next thing you can do is to do the copy. So first is you have to change the rotation to copy as well. So we have to choosing copy equal yes. Just by click this one and you can change that. So now you can see that no matter how I click, it will copy another one. So, but right now it's not precise at all. So we have to set up a very specific degree number for every leg. So for the first one, since right now we have 3 different legs, so the degree between each leg, it will be 120. Let's type in 120. This is the first one. Next one, it will be 240. So they will be third one. So this is pretty much done. For the rest, I will just simply delete them. Okay? Oh, but right now it's not in the right position. Is it okay? Let's just drag them down. Let's take a look. All right. Let's take a look. Just move the leg down and put them in the right position, and it will be down. Let's take a look about the final result. It will be like this. Okay, it will be looks like this. So that's it. That's about the alien juicers. So the next things you can try to do, I will move this one to the side. Please take a look. So first things, right now you can see that there are many iso curves on the surface. If you don't want to see that, you can turn off them. So you can choose them and go to the right side panel. There is an option which name property. You can go here, iso curve density, and turn off the iso curve. So it will make your model looks a little bit cleaner. Another one is that right now we are under the shading mode, right? So if you want to see the real material or better display way, you can go to here to choosing render. For the render mode, it will show you the simulation of the light and also the simulation of the texture. Not very realistic, but more or less, at least you can see the ambient occlusion shadow, something like that. So that we can use this one to see the shape, the material, and also the light. So right now it doesn't have any material, but we can try to do that. So for this part, up to you. You can do that or not. So you can create a new layer, put all the things to here. Layer. Let's do that again. Create a new layer. Select all the things you have. Move them to the layer. Right click, change object layer. Next one, click this little sphere. And you can choose in metal and probably change a different color or something. All right, click OK. So now you have. So that's it. That's about the setting of the material. For this part, this is not the target for this class, so you don't have to do that. But I just want to show you, if you want to have a better display way, that's the things you can try to do. All right, I will leave some time for you guys to finish this one. And if you got questions, just raise your hand and I will try to help you. Okay, so let's take a look about the things we're going to do. So first things, before this tutorial, I think you just directly open up the case file and then start to draw the things you want to do. But inside Rhinosys, actually there is a unit inside. There's a unit setting inside. So, for example, if you are going to draw architecture, probably the unit you are going to use will be centimeter or maybe meters. If you are going to do some product design, the unit you are going to use will be millimeter or something even more smaller. And also the precisions will be different. So let's take a look. So how can we set up the unit and also the precision inside Rhinosys. For that part, probably for now you guys won't face this problem, but if you are going to do some construction drawing, that will be very important. Let's open up the gears right here. For the Mac versions, I think you can just directly type in options. You can just directly type in option to turn on this panel. Okay, to turn on this panel. And for the PC user, you can go to here, and in Chinese it is 选项. This looks like this, and in English this is options. So just click this little gear right here. Okay, click this little gear right here. Let me show that to you. Once you click this one, the Rhino option will show up. It's right here. Rhino options. And inside these options, there are many things that you can change. So for example, like the density of the grid, or probably like a type of the mesh, or the most important and very useful one probably will be the appearance and also the viewport. Something like that. So you can do that right here. All the things viewport will be right here. So you can change the different random mode. The things we are going to use will be the unit setting. So it's right here, UNITS, units. So this part, for by this section, we can change the setting of the units. So you can see that right here, unit setting and the torrent radius. So right now, the model unit is millimeters. So if we change this one to something else, like centimeter or meter, let's see what kind of things we'll do. For example, I want to change this one to kilometers and click OK. So Rhinosys will tell you model unit is changed from millimeter to kilometer. Scale model by blah blah blah. There is a vector right here. So which means that when you change the unit model, when you change the unit of the model, Rhinosys will automatically transfer your model into a different scale. So for example, if you are going to change the millimeter to centimeter, we will scale your model 0.1 times bigger. So that which means your model will still follow the same shape and same size, but in the different unit world, it will be a different size. Okay, it will be a different relative size. So that's the setting of the Rhinosys. So right here, let's take a look. For the model units, you don't have to change that. But for the absolute tolerance, usually I would suggest you just set this one like this, 0.001. And if you want to get even more smaller, it is okay. I think you can make this one super long. But there will be a problem. When you are going to do some intersection or probably some like a Boolean operation, if you set your unit's absolute tolerance into a super small number, you will make your operation a little bit difficult to get. Because in that case, it requires some tolerance. It requires some intersection distance between two objects. So I would suggest you just say like this. And here, angle tolerance. For this part, it doesn't matter that much. But for this one, you can just keep like this, or maybe type 2 more zeros. And here is the display precision. Usually, I would suggest you just follow my setting. But if you want to make your model super precise, you can show more zero. So that's the thing. So you let's just say like this. The model unit is millimeter. The absolute tolerance is 0.001. Then the angle tolerance is 1.000. And here the display precision is 1.000. So that's the setting of this file. So in the future, probably you will open up your own stuff, like the midterm examinations that you are going to do your test. So in that case, you have to set up this one. All right, let's click OK. Let's get started. So the first things we are going to do is about to do the precision control of your drawing, and also try to learn another command which named loft. Let's try to do that, okay? So let's copy this one, copy this operation frame. Let's select and hold on your shift key, keep selecting so that you can do the multiple selection. Hold on your auto key and then you can do the copy as well. All right, so now we have them. So first thing is that inside random seeds, for sure you can just directly draw by yourself and with your intuitions. But for this one, I hope that you can use a more precise way to control that. 同学在 Rhino 里面，我们当然你可以就是像 Blender 或者像 Max 一样，就是随便画，你可以就不太需要管它的尺寸。不过因为 Rhino 是工业设计跟应该说算是工程制图用的工具了，所以其实它的精度可以到很高。那你们未来当然也会面临这种情形哦。所以这边的话，就请你们先试着看看，让它去做一些比较精确的控制。Alright, so let's get started. First thing is let's draw a circle and the radius is 15. So all the command inside right now is pretty much the same. Let's using circle as example. So let's click the circle right here and choose a center point. So let's probably choose it right here. The next thing is on the command bar, it will tell you, do you want to use in radius setting or diameter setting? So I want to use in diameter, so let's choose in diameter. And for diameter, you can just directly type in a number that you want to have. So you can just directly type, probably 35. Okay, 35, enter. So now you will have a circle that has 35 in diameter. How can we know that? Very simple. It's using dimension and linear dimension to measure that. So you can see that this is a 35. Okay. For this part, it's just a checking way to check the size of the circle, so you don't have to follow me to do that. Let's do it again. Let's draw another new circle, choosing a center, and you can hold on your shift key to do that. And right now, this time I want to have a 50 millimeter in diameter. So now we have this is a 50 diameter. So let's just have these two. Okay. So once we have these two, let's keep moving forward. Let's hold on your Alt key and select these two circles to the second one. And I want to do one more time. Let's drag and also hold on your Control key. Drag the curve to the top. So now I have 4 circles right here. So the next command I want you guys to do is loft. Let's take a look about this one. Okay, the loft. Loft probably is also a very important command inside Rhinoceros. We can use in loft to create a linear surface. So it's a little bit similar to sweep, but for the loft, it requires 2 trail curves. And for the section curve, you don't have to define that. So let's take a look. Right now we have 2 trail curves right here. This is one, and here's another one. So how can we use in loft? You can find them right here, loft, right here, okay? Or you can find them in the command bar, but usually the most common way I will use is just directly type in the command right here. So let's type in loft, loft. So it will tell you select curve to loft, so which means you have to select multiple curves to do the loft. So this is the first one, and choosing the second one. Once you finish, press enter. Press enter to finish your operation. So it will show you a section line show up. What's that mean? It means that for this curve, it will follow this direction to move, and then follow this trail. Once you finish, then it will finish a curved surface for you. Let's just don't change anything and follow the default setting to do the rest of the operation. Press enter. So it will tell you, okay, now we have this surface. Is there anything you want to change? Then just click OK. So this is the surface we have right now. Okay, very simple. So basically, just select the curve and follow one direction, and you will keep moving and gradually create a surface for you. We can draw another control point curve to do that as well. So for example, here is one control point curve, and you can copy one, and we can change the shape of this. So probably this one is not, they are not the same trail curve. This one's a little bit different. Now let's use in loft. So choosing this one, that one, let's enter. So now we have, okay? So this is the idea of the loft. Let's take a look about another way, and then I will give you some time to do the practice. So For the loft, at least you require two curves to do that. So let's choose this one and that one. Press enter. And here you can take a look about the direction of the curve. You can see that here it will show up a little arrows on the curve. And you can, by click this arrow, you can change the direction of the arrow. So for example, if I change this one to a different direction, what kind of things will happen? You can just simply imagine that for this one, it will go here, and for that one, it will go here. So it will become like this. Okay, it will become like this. So because this one go here, you can see that it rotate in this way. And for the bottom side, it rotate to the anti-clock direction. So for sure, in the middle part, they will twist it. And also another interesting is that about the start point of the loft, there will be another thing that we can try. So for example, try loft, choose this one, enter. So you can see that this is about the direction. Also by dragging the points, we can drag them to here. Okay, so for example, I drag the bottom point to another different point. So right here, you can take a look. So right now, the section curve become a decline curve. If we press enter, so that's the things you will see. Because they are not vertical anymore, so basically in the middle part, it will get more closer to the center point. So it will look like that. All right? So I think that's it. For the loft, nothing special. For sure, there is still something you can play around. So for example, you can choose a multiple curve and then create a more complicated geometry. That's the things we will use very often in the future. But right now, I think that's the things you have to know. Let's give you around 5 minutes to do a practice. And if you got questions, you can just raise your hand or come to my desk. I will try to help you.